そんなに構ってほしいなら明日デートしようぜ。
It's not about changing who we are necessarily for other people. It's about knowing ourselves, know thyself. And with this deepened, heightened self-awareness, finding the middle ground. How can I be the best I can within who I am for those that we love? Frieren is the perfect embodiment of that. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated licensed psychotherapist and a master of overanalysis and self-labeled your favorite yapper. Welcome to my detailed psychological analysis of Frieren Season 2, Episode 3. Happy Frieren Friday, everyone. Shout out to Athatha Nation Zero, Tirtanas, Wuxiang, Samsonian, Helixi, Jin Ichimaru, Roxy Love, Mexi TC, and Adam Chavez as the founding sponsors of my videos. I appreciate your support. I really enjoyed last week's episode reminding all of us that heroism is a choice. If Hero of the South can 1v8 and still take out 3, what about the rest of us? Sit back and I hope you enjoy. And remember, you are worthy, you matter. Oh, what a sunny morning. They're still next to that volcanic region in episode 1 where they fell off underground with that nullifying crystal, right, cave. And I remember they talked about they were also approaching the volcanic region. So I'm guessing this is still the same area. And it looks like the sun, the warmth, and they're talking about hot springs. So maybe this will be a romantic episode between Fern and Stark. Because, you know, Stark had to be overly apologetic because he thought he saw Frieren-sama and Fern bathing, although they're just dipping their feet. So hopefully some focused camera time between Fern and Stark without Stark being apologetic and actually enjoying some quality one-on-one time. Is this a romantic episode or am I being too optimistic? We shall see. And they're still freelancing with their chronic unemployment as usual. Looks like ruins. Remember, even in season 1, in the very beginning, episode 1 or episode 2, we found Frieren and even the group, we found them walking for a prolonged period. Because the landscape, not just the memories of Frieren, because again, her memories represent permanence regarding this impermanent temporal perceptions and fleeting of time, because she has a perfect recall. But the actual objective reality, the landscape that she remembers, is no more. It's the non-fleeting nature of her memories and the fleeting nature and the impermanence of the world. The landscapes are changing. The forests are being plowed down. The cities, the new industrialized areas are being built up. And all that, do you see how this is a callback and parallel based on in the beginning about the temporal perceptions and the difference between Frieren's memories and her temporal perceptions and the temporal perception of those humanity. And I wonder if this is a setup for something to come. Like the grief, emotional struggle, aside from the parallel process with the memories versus the changing of landscape.
Nah.
30 years ago. The hot spring dried up! No, again, change of physical landscape despite Frieren's memory being solid and unchanging. Man. Right there. That, I think that's one of the theses of today's episode. Human villages often vanish when you are not paying a close attention. You see that? Again, Frieren is a timestamp. She's like a hallmark or a landmark, as I talked about. A landmark of seemingly permanence within the reality of non-permanence, impermanence, the fleeting nature of humanity. And village is just a microcosm to represent, again, the gap and the discrepancies between Frieren's perceptions of the time and the actual fleeting nature of time.
次の町までどのくらいなんだ？
Another callback, did you see that Frieren and Fern was talking to the village people while Stark was playing with the children? That's yet another callback to, like I said, episode 13 in season 1, Old Man Val. Remember that? When Frieren was talking with Old Man Val, again, so much has changed. Man, the human villages will just vanish when you're not paying close attention. With Old Man Val staying in the village for 30 plus years because of the promise he made with his deceased wife. All that. This is a callback to that and paying homage to Old Man Val. But we see Stark playing with children because Stark is a real hero in his own right. Very carefree and just being a solid physical presence and emotional pillar for the children, which is the future generation. Because now he is part of this amazing Frieren and Fern's party. Because Stark is also an amazing warrior, right? Although we didn't get too much of his warrior training and highlights recently. But yeah, I think that wholesome scene of Stark playing around in the village with village children, yet that's another callback to, yes, what Himo the hero used to do often, but also to the Old Man Val specific episode. A lot of nostalgia.
この近くに温泉はないのかよ。
そういえば祖父に聞いた話なのですが、裏手の山には秘湯があると言っていました。
Oh, hidden.
これまた30年以上も前の話ですが。
エトバスさんの秘湯だね。
She remembers.
存じなのですか？ た方が早く温泉にありつけると思うよ。どうしたんですか？シュタルクさん。
Some pending emotional significance?
思い出した。フリーレン、俺行ってみたいかな。エトバスさんの人。
シュタルク様。
What's behind this hot spring?
だって。
せっかくここまで来たんだから行ってみようぜ。
We don't really see Stark being very assertive and actually speaking and verbalizing of his requests very often. In other words, Stark doesn't have too many things he make requests of. He's very follow the flow. He's a very chill guy, a chill dude, right, if you will. But here we see Stark, despite Frieren's like, hey, maybe it's not worth the trouble. Technically, it is a hot spring. But if that's what you want, it's going to be faster going to the next town, right? Again, despite the discrepancies and the gap between Frieren's perfect memory recall and the fleeting nature of time and humanity, the architecture, the villages, she still understands and she still remembers that, oh, I've been there before. It's probably not that good. But we see Stark here very fervently requesting, no, let's just go. We're already here. I wonder what that hidden hot spring represents for Stark. I think it's just not, I'm sure this episode and Stark's request is much more than just visiting a hidden hot spring. Maybe there's some sort of emotional connection, emotional significance. Because remember, what was Stark's genesis? What is the biggest why, power of why? What is Stark's biggest reason to embarking on this journey in the last 10 years with Fern and Frieren? Is to pay homage and to revisit all the places in the 10-year journey that his master, Aizen the warrior, embarked upon. So maybe this is a hidden hot spring that Aizen's told Stark before, and or Stark believes this is part of the journey to pay homage with what Aizen has gone before him. Right? So for him, it's not just the journey. It's the emotional representation. It's the memory. It's the nostalgia that's associated with these journeys and trips.
まあいいか。シュタルクが行きたいって言うのなら行こうか。
And we see Frieren's amazing mentorship / leadership style shows up again. Cool, if that's what you really want, let's go. No objection, no resistance, like, oh, that's a waste of time. That's a very suboptimal, less efficient way of doing things. She doesn't override her teammates' suggestion, but rather as a leader and the mentor, she, I think, appreciates and recognizes, oh, Stark really wants to go on this hidden hot spring adventure. It must mean of significance for Stark. So let's go, right? Do you see that? Again, her leadership style, just like her life's mentor, Himo the hero, is very subtle, yet very understanding, very considerate. She's a great leader. Damn, it is steep. While we're going through these B-rolls and again, representations of the journey, this is what all these compilations and this is what the process represents. I don't think this episode is about the actual destinations of Hot Spring, but rather it's the journey, creating new memories, deepening relationships, getting closer with each other. I think this is to depict the journey is what counts. In our memories, in our memory bank, take a moment and think back to memories of significance, either emotional significance or otherwise. How many times do you remember the successful moments when we achieved that project, when we got that A, when we, right? Even when we got into our dream school and all that, monumental milestones for sure. But often those monumental successes don't carry the same emotional significance in the deepening of our memories as the journey to get there. I often remember more vividly about the all-nighters that we pulled, the very close group projects that we barely made it, but we did really well with our teammates, classmates, right? It's the hard work, the sacrifices we took, the work we put in, the dedication we displayed to ourselves and other people. I remember those things more vividly than the actual destination. Sometimes I don't even remember if I achieved those outcomes, but I almost always remember the journey and the process of getting there. This is what that represents, right? Sure, they have a goal, and I hope they find this hidden hot spring. I hope the landslide and the landscape changes in the last 30 years wasn't that detrimental and impacted this hidden hot spring. But think about how much focus the cameras and all the shows focusing on. Them slaying wild beasts, boars, and hiking on all that.
フリーレン様、なんだかあまり乗り気じゃないように見えます。まあね、ヒンメルたちともう帰りたい。
Look at the contrast between their facial expressions. I wonder why Frieren is really not too excited. Is it because she's already done this before? She doesn't still quite fully appreciate the emotional significance of creating these intimate memories. Again, because she's a very cognitive person. She's a thinker, right? She's very much in the head, very empirical, matter of fact. Nothing against her. It's not that she's emotionally disconnected because she wants to, but rather she's an elf. She's of a different species, despite her tremendous emotional growth. Even with her type of empathy, because Frieren is very empathetic as a person. But remember, there's 3 different types of empathy, right? A cognitive empathy, being able to empathize on a cognitive level with our thoughts. It's more rational. 2, obviously emotional empathy, right? That's more empathizing with each other on an emotional level. And 3, it's more action driven, right? That's when we can actually not just relate and empathize with someone else, but rather follow those empathy with action space. Obviously, that's what a lot of A Violet Evergarden was about. Obviously, another series I've done if you're interested in. But yeah, Frieren typically represents more of a cognitive empathy, but that's a huge misconception that people who are more disposed or more prone to empathize with people on a cognitive level cannot feel each other emotionally, or they're not attuned emotionally. In other words, they're emotionally disconnected. That is a common misconception. That is not the case. It's just different tendencies. But here, maybe Frieren still struggle with appreciating all of the humanities, little quirks, like little things like, man, what's the point? If the hot spring is not going to be worth it, why go on this journey anyway? Of course, as I talked about, she said yes, because she's just a great leader and a great mentor. She doesn't mind adding extra detour onto her trip, but maybe her lack of excitement is a representation of that. At the end of the day, despite her tremendous progress, she's still an elf. And maybe she approaches certain things within our human behaviors and human actions, like creating memories despite the chances of not succeeding. Like it's been 30 years. And maybe this is yet another difference between her and the main character in episode 2 last week, Hero of the South. Free will versus determinism. Will we pursue the things even if the outcome is likely suboptimal or not ideal? Hero of the South did that because I think a lot of humans, we embed and imbue meaning just precisely because of the non-permanence, because they will not last forever. It is that limiting time, it's those limitations makes us want to imbue our meanings into seemingly meaningless things, whereas Frieren is not necessarily the case. We shall see.
メル様たちはそんなところにまで行っていたんですね。
Himo the adventurer.
ちょっとだけだって言ったじゃないですか。
絶対何かあるんだって僕の直感がそう言ってる。
Why is Frieren just watching? Frieren knows how to lift carousel in the air with that bird beast episode in season 1. Why doesn't Frieren just help out Himo by airlifting Hector the Bishop? Why is she soaking the joy of seeing them struggle? And look at that smile, that contagious, just undeterred, optimistic smile of Himo the hero. That's what makes him a hero. Great parallel process. Oh, there's that rock. That's a landmark of the past. You remember what I said? Our memory recall, activations of our memories is based on stimuli. Things, sight, people, smell, taste, etc., etc. In this case, it's the physical sight of seeing that landmark brought back the flashback and the memories of, oh yeah, I've done this before with Himo the hero, Hector the bishop, and Aizen the warrior. Again, so this is a very, very accurate memory recall process. And that's why the flashbacks happen in this exact order, after she saw the landmark first. Oh, that was a sick transition. And that monster's sounds brought Frieren back into the present tense with her current party, Fern and Stark. There's a do they have to defeat a dragon? Bro, they have to fight a dragon to freaking go to this hidden hot spring? This better be the best hidden hot spring. Psych? That's a trap, remember. It's not the destination, it's the process. Almost jinxed myself. Oh shit, triple head dragon. Wow. What? Oh, it's a lizard? Oh, it's a primordial lizard, I guess. Oh, because it doesn't have wings. Territorial. Wow. Oh shit, they're coming. Oh, here they go. That is a massive lizard. Run. Oh. Stark the runner. Oh, they're already. Wow. A fight scene early on. Nice. Plan A, using Stark as bait. The end. Yo, look at poor Stark. Good plan. See, it worked. Good job.
二人ともよく頑張ったね。
Is it on top? Oh. Please, for the sake of Stark, for all his sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, I hope this is an actual, legitimate, sick, just a cinematic hidden hot spring. Because after a cardio session, being already sweaty and all that, to really enjoy your fruit of labor, a hot spring will be sublime, will be perfect. But something tells me with just Frieren setup is probably going to be a massive disappointment. But again, it's a journey. Wow, really hidden. Let's see it. Moment of truth. Another random question. Again, Frieren and Fern, they both know how to fly. Do you think Frieren chooses to walk physically often in this show is a way, it's an intentional way for her to be closer to humanity, represents more of humanity? Because I'm sure back in the days, carousel, horses is more of a transportation of the privileged. So for most commoners, walking donkeys obviously is more common, right? Not just in Frieren, just in medieval, more ancient setting, just across the human civilizations. That's my take for Frieren's deliberate choice to walk often, because that is a typical behavior of humanity at the time. Or do you think it's not that deep? She just likes to walk.
ようやく着いたな。
大変でしたね。ね、次の町を目指した方がいいでしょ。あれが糸バスさんの人だよ。
Where is it? Yo, it's a tiny pond. But sick view though. It's on the top of a mountain. Sick view, sunset, sunrise, right?
浅いな。
Oh, it's so shallow, but still.
足湯ですね。
Okay, it's still a hot
だ
spring.
から間に合わないって言ったんだよ。
You see that? Yeah, I think I was right. I think Frieren is more cognitive. So within her Frieren calculus, the utility that's being derived from going on this hidden hot spring adventure pursuit did not quite fully justify the physical labor and the cost, so to speak, right? So ROI wasn't that worth it for Frieren. But we see that camera zooming into Stark. And we see the stark contrast between Frieren's not that impressed, very underwhelmed, because I think she knew, and Stark's lack of disappointment. Despite Stark putting her hands into the depth, which is only like this deep, not that deep, literally a foot bath, there's no disappointment in her face, in his face. He's smiling, he's content. I think twofold. This is probably a hidden spring that Aizen the warrior told him about, and maybe it was on Stark's bucket list to replicate and revisit all the places that his master has gone through in their 10-year journey to defeat the Demon King, level 1. But level 2, like I said, the significance of our human memories is not impacted by the insignificance of our destination. Again, it's not a positive correlation. Just because our goal is monumental doesn't always necessarily mean our memories and our recall and our cherishment of that is monumental. Like here, the goal of this hidden hot spring is very insignificant. Frieren already gave him helped manage the expectations. Technically, it is a hot spring, but it's probably not worth the effort. But despite the managed expectations, the significance of this journey outweighed the insignificance of the destination. Hot spring was very shallow, very underwhelming, but the journey, the memory formation, this closeness is invaluable. You cannot quantify one's emotional impact that we take away from whatever memories and experiences. That's why Stark is smiling. This was never about the actual hot spring for Stark. It's probably to pay homage to his master, Aizen the Warrior, as I suspected. I could be wrong. And 2, the actual significance of them through the Holy Trinity, the trio with Fern and Frieren that Stark really cared about. Now, he has his own adventure, his own journey, right? He came here despite the hidden hot spring most likely going to be underwhelming. Doesn't matter.
でもいいんじゃねえか。 これならみんな一緒に入れる。
Yeah. Oh, and Frieren smiling, and Fern is smiling too. They get it.
そうだね。
It's so shallow though, dude. So shallow. I'm dead. Aww.
いい景色ですね。ところでシュタルク様はどうしてここに来たいと言ったのですか？
師匠から聞いていたんだよ。
Oh, called it.
とて
A
も
foot bath.
お割には
Oh, he
実
told
に
her.
くだらない冒険だ。
He told him.
くだらない冒険
Wow.
はどれもかけがえのない記憶として残る。
So well said. And Stark remembered.
俺はあの景色が忘れられない。
Wow. Goosebumps. Aww. Amazing. Oh, the music. Evan calls the goat. Sorry for muting all the music. The view is objectively nice, but what makes the subjective experience of sharing this sunset view is the people that he is with. His memory went from inspired and planted and instilled by Aizen the warrior, his master's recall and narration of the memories. That was an inspiration. That was a seed that catalyzed him speaking up, requesting, let's go on this adventure anyway. To now, they arrived at the destination. And the view is sublime. It is amazing. The ridiculousness of this journey, merely for a footbath, encompassed by the unquantifiable, indescribable wholesomeness of sharing these memories with who you love, right? Like the journey is ridiculous, but the memory is just as ridiculously amazing. They will never forget this. And again, cognitively, this speaks to our memories, our social perceptions, directly influence our biases, our memory formations, and our impressions about certain things, certain people. Of course, that's on the obvious. But that's how social we humans are. We humans are social emotional animals because our very fabric, our tenets of our existence, which is memories. Think about this. Without the memories we create, what other proof is there that we existed? Right? Reminds me of a famous Japanese philosophical statements. Everyone dies twice. The first one is the physical decaying of ourselves, the physical death. But the ultimate death, the second death, is when the last person on this planet Earth no longer remembers our name, no longer remembers who we once were. The last person's memories are no longer. That is the ultimate death. Our memories are direct proof that we existed. We mattered. We were here once upon a time. So it's the memories that really matter. Our memories is the essence of who we are. This is the reason why it's important to create meaningful memories with those a meaningful social network, regardless of the outcome. Again, the significance of our memories cannot be reduced to the insignificance of mere outcome. Outcomes change, but the memories stay with us. Are we willing to put in the work? Are we willing to give that thing a shot? Because we know we won't be on this process of journey alone. We're going to be sharing our shared struggle, which is another predictor of how significant our memories are going to be, right? Because like I talked about earlier, I don't remember all the moments where I was celebrating about achieving the outcome, but I almost always remember the process of getting there, the mentors, the friends, the classmates, the colleagues who I shared certain struggles and achievements in pursuit of achieving the outcome. It's never the outcome, it's the journey. Now they have to go back down? Oh! Dominoes. Of course, Stark's gonna be on the bottom. Yep. Yo, the Stark's always catching them all. But instead of Pokemon, he's catching Fern and Frieren. Although they can fly! They can literally fly! Oh, poor Stark.
やっぱり労力と割には
Okay, it is a steep ass mountain. Aww. Ah, actual hot spring. Wow. Only if you knew. I think that's another subtle callback to the theme of first half of episode 3, temporal perceptions and the gap between Frieren's temporal perceptions and that of humanity, right? An old lady, she's like, oh, you surely love hot springs for someone so young. Again, they're different because she's obviously an elf and she doesn't know that. But again, you see that? Wow, this is a nice hot spring. Himo the hero! Wow, cool architecture.
様この町に着いてからずっと温泉に入り浸りですね
Gotta catch them all.
たまに出てきたと思えば魔法店だもんなかな
厳しく言いましたからね
I'm sure that's a short stay for Frieren. Like, see again, reference that temporal perception. That's definitely the theme of this episode.
明日は丸一日暇になってしまいますね
そうだな
Free day for Stark and Fern, aka something gonna happen?
俺は武器屋にでも行くか
Or
物
not?
を研いでもら
Alright.
わないと
だから私明日暇なんですけど
Fern is sulking. Okay, good for you, bro, that you're cleaning your axe. What about me? I have nothing to do. Include me. Lover's quarrel.
もう付き合っちゃえよ
I love this.
構ってください
Pay attention to me? That's a very direct invitation. It's like, come on, Stark. Invite me to do something with you. Pay attention to me. Man, I love when Fern is pouting and she's sulking. So cute. Just adolescence, man. Power of the beauty of youth.
気が利きませんねシュタルク様は
なんだよそんな言い方しなくたっていいだろ
I was like, it's been a while since Stark's been scolded by Fern ever since he agreed to stay after turning down Verbal's invitations to go to the front line in the north in episode 1. About time. It's like the invisible knife hand. Aww.
たまには仕返ししてやるか
Uh-oh. Payback.
そんなに構ってほしいなら明日デートしようぜ あ、これやばいパターン
Yo, as soon as Fern dropped that mage book, because I'm sure she was startled and she was in disbelief, although she's acting all cool and shit, right? All that stoicism, she's fronting. I'm sure her internal reality is like butterflies off the max, right? I'm sure she's like, what? A date? Because, you know, Fern is very, very composed. The only thing they can throw Fern off her game is 1, financial shortage, aka when they're broke, and 2, when she lost her magic capacity in that nullifying crystal cave, the first time in her life ever. So I've only seen her lose her composure twice, and this is the 3rd time. This is the power of love, right? Oh.
死んだな
Ah, I'm dead.
わかりましたでは明日
I'm telling you, Fern is acting all nonchalant and shit, but I'm sure the moment she goes out the door, as she closes the door behind her, she's gonna freak. Let's see it, Fern. Come on, Fern. We know. I could feel your butterflies through the screen. Don't be acting all cool. She didn't even close the door. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Do you see the way she was walking like a zombie? She didn't even close the door. And our dear Fern, she's very considerate. I'm telling you, man. Her internal reality is melting.
何この反応
Stark, you have no idea. Frieren licking popsicle. I'm sure Stark misses the advice of Zion, the only adult in this group, the only one that could give dating and relational advice. Yo, poor Stark. Stark is like, I'd rather fight that venomous dragon, that red dragon. I'd rather fight all the dragons there ever is. All the dragons. Than have to deal with my ultimate raid boss, Fern, trying to figure her out. Yo.
誰に相談しているのか
I'm telling exactly, but there's no Zion. Frieren, you are all he's got. He has nobody else. Frieren, can you step up? Give some solid dating advice? Oh my goodness. Oh, this is tough.
何も無理とは言っていないよ。私はお姉さんだから。
I'm a grown woman. Are you sure?
改めてフリーレン俺にデートしようってよ
Let's take a moment of silence for Stark. What a desperate situation he's in. He has no one else to go to, asking for dating advice. Then a freaking immortal elf who didn't understand Frieren's, Himo the hero's true intention, his true feelings, until like what 90 years after he died. This is a all hands on deck. Dire situation for Stark.
たらどう思う
Whew, I'm sweating.
シュタルクも大人になったね。
Oh boy. Yeah.
完全に孫と遊びに行こう
おばあちゃんって言ったな。クソババアに続いて2度目だ。
Bro, Stark. Again, I get it. Just like Fern lost all her composure, her reality melted. Stark is going through the same thing. His brain is short-circuiting, right? He doesn't know. Again, if he is in his right mindset, he wouldn't be seeking the counsel of Frieren. But the fact that he's here means his internal world, his cognitive processing also broke down. This is a desperate act. And because of that, he forgot that, oh shit, Frieren-sama, she has perfect memory recall. Surely he's holding grudges that I called her an old hag, like God knows how many years ago, right? This is the second time. Stark, I'm worried for you, man. I'm worried about you.
3度目はどうなるんですか
泣きわめく。感触を起こした私は怖いよ。勇者ヒンメルでさえ恐れおののいた。
Yo. She's been crying for 3 full days and 3 full nights? Well, I guess again, temporal perception, right? I'm telling you, that is the thesis of this episode. It's showing up, even through a humorous comedic act of her crying. For most people's tantrums last like a few hours, but she is an immortal elf, so her tantrums last 3 full days, 72 hours. Wow, she really is an adolescent within the elf species.
怖い
It does sound terrifying.
所業なのかよ
No, dude. That was awesome.
シュタルクにデリカシーがないことは分かったかな。
Yo.
それでフェルンとデートするの？
Alright, let's go. Okay, okay.
やっぱなしって言える雰囲気じゃないからねだからフェルンが好きそうな場所とか聞きたくていや
Frieren does have perfect memory, so I feel like her perfect memory, her supernatural cognitive ability will actually be of help for Stark. I think, jokes aside, I think she will actually provide some very astute relationship dating advice. And obviously having her perfect memory, that means she probably remembers all the behavior cues, all the little things, all the seemingly insignificant and innocent, but actually of significance. The things that Fern told Frieren in passing, she probably remembers all of that.
でもない
So maybe Frieren will save the day.
旅に行こうか。
Hmm?
多分わかるかも。好きな場所。
Aw, look at her smile. Again, First half of this episode was creating amazing new memories with those that we love. The second half of this episode is, yet again, creating amazing new memories of asking Frieren for dating advice, going on a micro adventure with Frieren to find places for their date with Fern, right? All of these is new memories. And I'm sure the episode will end with the most intimate, most lovely, most meaningful memories. Memories of going on their first dates between Stark and Fern. What a wholesome episode. True?
お腹が空くと機嫌が悪くなるから。
Amen, sister. Wow, that's 2 for 2. Already off of 2 great advices.
フェルンは小さい頃からつまみ食いが好きなんだ。
3 for 3. Nice. Jewelry classic.
なんかも喜ぶと思うよ。
Yes. Obviously, that's a callback and reference to all the jewelries that Fern takes care of, that she cleans, right, every night. Obviously, the hair bracelet, that's butterfly, symbolizing Hyter the Bishop. The bracelet, or no, the hairpin thing, right, the butterfly, obviously the bracelet, the eternal love, the lotus bracelet that represents a Stark, and I think another jewelry that Frieren bought her. Obviously, all of those jewelries represents some of the most meaningful people, some of the most meaningful memories, and a sense that she belongs. She's not alone, despite being a orphan of war. Same thing, right? So obviously jewelry plays a big role. So if Stark buys her a new jewelry, of course, Fern will happily add that onto her collection of the things that she cherished the most. Not because the materialism, but because the emotional representation behind it. True. Yo, so far 4 for 4,
い
man.
くつか抑えておいた方がいい。
Wow. Great advice. Aww. Also, dating pro tip. You always want to end your first date, and of course all the dates, but especially first dates. After whatever plans you have, adventures, activities. Obviously, watching a movie together on the first date is the worst idea ever because you're not talking. You want to create this immersive, intimate experience to get to know each other, to talk to each other, right? So of course, do things that maximize opportunities to converse and get to know each other. But a pro tip, we want to end every first date with dessert, a sweet thing, because glucose, sugar, literally creates euphoric high for us. It helps with our dopamine spike and all that. And that creates a positive, net positive experience. Like literally a cherry on top with your entire first date. In other words, with a recency bias, is this bad? I'm teaching how to social engineer dating based on cognitive science. But obviously, be authentic, be true to yourself, don't play games. Obviously, those are given. But yeah, by ending your first date on a sweet thing, eating sweet things, it also helps hijack into your recency bias so that when you think back, and when girls or guys are sharing about how your first date went with your homies or girlfriends, recency bias. Remember, oh yeah, the night ended on such a sweet note because of dessert. It also helps with the memory recall and gives you the extra bonus points. Maybe that helps you to get your second date. So yeah, eating your first date on a sweet dessert is always, always recommended.
こういう物静かな広場の
Wow, great overlook. Nice. Very quiet.
なんだよ
Yeah.
何も知らないよ。
Hmm?
私はすごくない。すごいのはハイターなんだ。ことあるごとにハイターはフェルンの好みを話していた。
Oh, Hyter.
お腹が空くと不機嫌になるのも、つま
Oh.
み食いが好きなのも、綺麗なものが好きなのも、
Oh.
気分によって好みが変わるのも、どれも全部ハイターが教えてくれた。
Hyter.
ハイターは私にフェルンの親代わりになることを望んでいたみたいだけれども、
That's right. Attachment style, secure.
あの子の好きなものをほとんど見つけられなかった。
Nah, she's being humble. Aww.
フリーレンは多分ちゃんと親をやれてるよ
Amen. I agree. 100%. Remember, Just because she's an elf, a different species from humanity, just because she is genetically disposed, a genetic disposition, she's more prone to cognitive empathy, does not mean that she's not personable, does not mean that she's emotionally disconnected, does not mean that she cannot relate and empathize with one another. She is a cognitive, yes, she is cognitive. Yes, she's a thinker. But she has perfect memory. And her cognitive empathy shows up just like emotional empathy. She understands people. She put in the work. Within her genetic disposition, in other words, within her limitations, within her emotional weakness, she's still showing up as the best parents figure she possibly can. It's not about changing who we are necessarily for other people. It's about knowing ourselves, know thyself. And with this deepened, heightened self-awareness, finding the middle ground. How can I be the best I can within who I am for those that we love? Frieren is the perfect embodiment of that. She does not need to be perfect. She doesn't need to be this emotionally, verbally affirmative, super emotional, super sweet talking person, because that is not her. Yet in her own ways, she makes those people that she cares for and loves feels appreciated. Stark can see and feel how caring Frieren is as a caregiver, despite having a different parenting style, different attachment style as Heitor the Bishop, because they're different, right? It's amazing. It's amazing. That was awesome. Also, Stark and Frieren spending their alone time, just two of them without Fern, that also speaks to yet again an ongoing theme. After Stark learning to reattach himself emotionally with Frieren and Fern after turning down Verbal's offer in episode 1, he is able to move through and overcoming his own trauma, losing his brother, losing his dad, losing his entire village when he was young. Of course, in addition to that, his own struggle with Aizen the Warrior and the misunderstanding that I talked about episodes ago, right? This is both ways. It's bi-directional. Frieren continuing and deepening her role as a parent figure. Also Stark and Fern also growing up and stepping up and getting closer as a role as a child. Parents-child reattachment style, right? It's truly amazing. Yo. I love Fern. Like peekaboo, I'm here. We went from a mother-son dynamic to now mother and daughter dynamic. Super wholesome. Is Fern nervous? Come on. Obviously, Fern wants to ask about, what did you talk about with Stark? Do you know what Stark has planned for me? Any tea? But of course, I don't blame Fern, because her communication style, how she approaches relationships, interpersonally, relationally, she learned that mainly from a single parent, Heitor at the time, for a limited period, and then Frieren. So if Frieren is Fern's emotional and relationship role model, might take a while. But it's not impossible. Oh, let's go. Girl talk. Aww. They're both asking for advice. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Wait. Of course you haven't. Wait, what? You have? Yo. Again, that was in passing, super comedic, but that's very significant for Fern. Think about Fern's perception of who Frieren is. There's Frieren, the Grey Mage, of the legendary mage's lineage, Flame's lineage, the mage that helped defeat the Demon King. Frieren is a freaking legend. She literally represents legends. She's of legends and she's still legendary, right? And Fern knows Frieren is more cognitive, right? More stoic. not the most lovey-dovey kind of like a mom or I guess older sister, that female role model. It's a different dynamic. Fern knows that. She doesn't hold it against Frieren. But precisely because of Fern's perception of who Frieren is, hearing that for the first time, wait, Frieren-sama, you been on a date? How was that? That single confirmation helped humanize Frieren once more for Fern. I think that gives Fern the assurance, the validation and comfort that, hey, if I, Frieren-sama, can go on a date, so can you. It's super, super assuring.
ベタなですかヒンメルと一緒魔道具
Yo.
店の店主に頼まれてねそれって依頼をこなしただけですよね
Yeah, how was it a
そ
date?
れは
Fair? Hmm?
あのねフェルン気心の知れた異性と二人きりで出かけたらそれはデートになるんだよ
Oh. Hold up. Oh, I was like, I love that smirk. And again, Frieren's smirk is a replica of Flame's smirk. And I was like, damn, where did she get this wisdom from? How does she know? Of course, Flame told her. That makes sense. Again, she might have quite some way to go with her emotional empathy and emotional understanding, but nonetheless, with her perfect memory, her cognitive understanding, she can still relate and still share great advices. Aw, shout out to Flame.
ザインともデートしたなもういいです
All right, bro. That doesn't count with Zion, right? Although Zion is into MILFs, or in this case, GILFs.
こんなのお姉さんじゃない
I'm sorry. But yeah, Zion, shout out to you, man. Hope you're doing well. I wonder when Zion is going to make a comeback to this party after finding that gorilla friends. I'm dead.
おやすみなさい
Again, on the surface, sounds like Fern didn't really get much out of Frieren, but as my analysis said, just that assurance, that validation that Frieren too went on a date before. Again, I think that's all of the psychological and emotional assurance that Fern needed. That's the power of validation. That's the power of affirmation that we are not alone. Whatever journey, whatever struggle, whatever situation, as big or as small in our minds, unless we verbalize that, unless we share that with other people, we will never know that we are not the only ones going through that struggle. We are just equally as part of the collective humanity, right? That's why therapy helps. That's why venting to other people help. That's why giving feedback, this social reciprocity, this relationships of venting about my struggle, hearing and holding space for other people's struggle. Through this process, we learn and we recognize that we are not alone. We're not the only ones going through this invisible suffering silently by ourselves. But everyone else is also going through that. Same shit, but different toilets. But regardless, it is the same, right? Oh, Fern can't sleep because she's nervous. A lot of anticipation. She looked at the moon. I wonder who she was thinking about. Because, again, I think that was a callback to episode 2 with Heiter the Bishop when Fern made that butterfly magic for the first time. And I think in episode 2, I kind of remember, I could be mistaken, but I vaguely remember Fern looking up at the moon. And under that full moon, it was her and Heiter. I wonder, through seeking advice, having that moment with Frieren brought back memories for Frieren about her own advice seeking and all the advices that Heiter shared with her until he passed away. So maybe that was a homage to Heiter the Bishop with that full moon. Awesome. Awesome episode. This episode for me is about memory recall, a difference in temporal perception, which is a common theme in season 1. So far, I see a lot of the through lines and similar themes, but like on a deeper level with season 1. I'm sure that was intentional by the director, but yeah, this was a very quiet but a wholesome episode. As always, if you enjoy my yapping, smash the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. A, support your favorite yapper, but B, make sure you stay within the algorithm so you don't miss out on my next series and my next videos. As always, appreciate for tuning in. And remember, you matter, you're worthy. And let's continue to create and deepen amazing memories with amazing people that we love. It's the memories that count. And memories require journey, not necessarily the destinations nor outcome. As always, thank you for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.